Hi guys, welcome back to Coding 101, and in this video we're going to take a look at data types. In the previous video we were introduced to the first data type, which is a string. And a string, as we mentioned, it is a text data type. So we also have something called numbers. So we have number data types, and we have two kinds of number data types. One is called an integer, and the other one is called a float. So an integer is your whole number, any whole number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then floats are basically your decimal numbers. Then the next data type we have is Boolean. And this data type can either be true or false. And then we have our sequence data types, sequence. And there are two main common ones that are usually used. The first one is the list, and the second one is a tuple. So these are basically data types that allow you to group values together. So if you have like multiple values that are related to each other, these are actually a good way to utilize to group things together. So and the last one we're going to take a look at is the Nun type. So the Nun type is basically none. So it signifies that there is no value. So let's just quickly print out a few of these data types. Let's put a number, that's your integer. And then let's print out a float, which is your decimal point. And then we have your Boolean. Let's print true. So unlike the string, there are no single quotes. You just type out true or false and make sure it's capitalized. And then let's print the Nun type first, and then we'll get to our sequence data types. So in sequence data types, the first one, list, you can signify it in square brackets, and then you can just put whatever values you want. And if you want to put another value, just put a comma and then the next value. It can be any type. Let's put a float there, and let's just put a Boolean, and you can even put another list inside. So let's run this. So there's your list. So the next one, the last one we're going to take a look at is a tuple. So a tuple is basically the same thing. You just have to replace the square brackets with parentheses. Let's run that. There you go. So these are the most common types of data types that are used in the Python programming language. And I'm going to explain to you, because you probably are wondering why there are two different data types. They look the same. They just have a square bracket and a parentheses, but they actually have two different one main difference is that list is what we call a mutable data type. So a list is mutable, and a tuple is immutable. So what this means is basically a tuple cannot be changed and a list can be changed. So I'm going to do something called a index assignment. So what it means is I'm going to assign another value. I'm going to assign an item in a list in one of these groups another value. So maybe I'm going to change this number to a text. So let's just copy this. And then to get the second item in the list, you can just index it. We put another square bracket here. And the second item will be numbered 1. So in list or tuples, we follow a zero index system where the first item will be numbered 0 and then 1, 2, 3, and so on and so forth. So when we assign it to, maybe let's just make it into a text. We're not going to print it. I'm just going to run it and let's see what happens. So the program here, it goes fine, nothing happens. So let me see what will happen on a tuple. Just going to copy the same line. Just going to change it into a tuple. So there you go. I'm going to run it again. And as you can see here, it spits out an error. It says that tuple object does not support item assignment. So this is basically what I was talking about. The tuples are immutable. What it means is that it cannot be changed. So these are good for basically signifying values that you want to remain same throughout your program. So you use a tuple instead of a list. So the last one, so okay, we've actually gone through all the different data types. These are not all the data types that are available in Python, but they are the most common. And I think for the level of this course, I think this is fairly sufficient for you to know at this point. So in the next video, we're going to talk about variables. So we're going to be looking at how to store all this data into variables. So I'll catch you in the next video.